It's a letdown every time you come around, finding new ways to push me down, 'cause it ain't cool. You say, look at this, everyone can see that you're full of it, still you wanna use it, making it true. There you go again, just running your mouth. I pretend I don't hear a sound. It's hard to talk to you when you were picking me up, letting me right back down. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause I'm not the one who can't listen, you're the one who's been distant, 'cause I've been here all along. In an instant, 'cause you could have made it all disappear, 'cause it don't matter in the end what you and I know you're doing here. There you go again, just running your mouth, 'cause I pretend I don't hear a sound. Time to talk to you when you were picking me up, letting me right back down. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're acting crazy, making me feel smart. I've been waiting, you don't really carry on. Whoa, 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 whoa. There you go again, just running your mouth, 'cause I pretend I don't hear a sound. Time to talk to you when you were picking me up, letting me right back down. Oh, 'cause it's always a letdown. It's a letdown every time you come around.
Hey everyone, I'm here with the band Ula Ruth, and you guys just played a show in Boston, didn't you, earlier today?
Correct.
How was that?
It was awesome. I think the hardest part was, getting up in the morning, and it was a little colder up in Boston than it was here.
What time did you guys have to leave?
We had to leave around like 8 o'clock, which meant we had to get up at like 7 o'clock, which is unheard of for a rock band, apparently.
On a
Well, we were
Sunday,
up
especially.
to like
Sunday,
1
yeah.
the night before, so.
What did you guys do last night?
We watched a movie, actually.
We
What
always
movie?
We watched Drinking Buddies. That's actually.
All
that's
right.
what I was doing. It was okay. Yeah.
We spent a lot of time rehearsing for the show today, and then for what we're doing here. And, then we wanted to just kind of like unwind, because rehearsals can get stressful, because we overanalyze a lot of things. But yeah, so then we just kind of like relaxed, put a movie on, but stayed
Had
up
some
probably
fine
a little bit
wine.
too late. Yeah, had a glass of wine each.
we drink
wine?
we drink wine.
Just a nice classy night before you play.
Yeah, well, we had like an 8-hour rehearsal. I think it was like nonstop.
Yeah.
Where do you guys rehearse?
We do all over. If we can do it like at my house, our house, we will do it there just because it's the most convenient. We do rehearse here actually, and we've also rehearsed in studios in the city, but those can be more expensive, so it just depends. It's whatever would be probably the most convenient.
Okay, cool. And so tell me a little bit more about your show in Boston. How was it?
It's definitely cool when you do stuff like that, the outdoor events, because you get a lot of people watching you that normally would not come see you in a club,
Right.
or not in New York, obviously. But it's cool, because then you see a lot of people who are really into the music.
Okay, cool. And what kind of songs did you play there? Did you play some of your old music? Did you play off of your new EP that's set to release in January? Or did you kind of mix everything up?
We played, our typical set, which consists of the classic oldies and a lot of the new stuff,
Which ones?
We have one song. What do we have? It's "Empty" is a song that's been around for a long time. It was on our first EP actually, and we have.
It's actually the first song I think we ever wrote with you.
Yeah, it was one of the first songs that we actually wrote as a band. Definitely, very true. A song like "Too Late Tonight," which has actually just made it to this EP right now. It's been around for a long time. "Runaway," which is on this EP, has been around for a long time. So those are like the standbys, and then we have songs that we just introduced into the set pretty recently. One of which we're gonna play tonight.
Which one is that going to be?
That's "Young and Restless."
Young and Restless, and that's on your new EP that's coming out, right?
No,
No?
this is a new song, a latest creation from Ula Ruth.
Okay.
But we're very passionate about the song, and it's had pretty good reception earlier this morning in Boston.
Great.
And we played it at a few shows, and it's, I think, our favorite song to play at the moment, or one of our favorites.
That and Misery, which we're not playing, but I think we're starting to write like the next EP or the next. We're not going to do a record because we want to kind of flesh out different songs and figure out what works and what people kind of take away in our singing and tapping the foot too.
And what kind of music we play best too.
Absolutely, yeah.
We feel the band has like a lot of potential to grow, and right now we have a specific sound that's evolved since the band started up until now, and it really has been evolving quite quickly.
Do you guys think that your sound has changed over time a lot?
Yeah.
Like from what it started out to be? How has it differed with what it is now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think like spending a lot of time like in recording studios does a lot to change your sound. So even from like our first EP, or even before we recorded that, up till now, doing our second EP, like we've experimented with a lot of different sounds, a lot of different instruments. Playing with like synths and a lot of different types of like effects pedals and like organs and keys and all this different types of stuff. So your sound really does change from there. The bands that you are inspired by change from there as well.
Who are some of your biggest inspirations?
Right now, we for current stuff, I'd say we're big fans of like the Arctic Monkeys or the Strokes, or even like the Vaccines was a pretty big influence on this last EP. But we always kind of go back to some of like the classics, like the Clash or like U2 has been a pretty huge influence lately for us, bands like that.
Awesome. And personally, what do you guys like to listen to when you're driving around from each show to show? What do you guys listen to in the car?
Well, that certainly depends on who's controlling the iPod.
I put on a lot of Katy Perry.
Yeah, he's really into
Katy Perry,
he's
okay.
really into Katy Perry.
Yeah.
When it's like my music, it's usually like a lot of like the Claxons, which is like a kind of like a rock band from 2007. I play a lot of like Washed Out, the High Highs, kind of more of like electronic mixed music, and then a lot of really heavy rock music.
Lucas is the hippest person in our band.
By far.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm still like, put on Led Zeppelin or Miles Davis.
And
And then I
Katy
just say
Perry,
no.
of course.
That's a guilty pleasure. That's me alone driving.
Okay. And what about you guys?
Kev.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all over the map. It kind of depends on the day of the week. I'm recently been really into the latest Kings of Leon record. That's been, I think we put that on in the car on the way up there, and I think
Yes,
on the
we
way
did.
back I heard it as well when I woke up from my nap. That's me.
Well, I love like, Andrew will definitely go more the classic, which I love, and he'll kind of show me some of that stuff because I sometimes like missed out on things, and then Lucas, I also love like, the more hip stuff. I'll be like, oh, who is that band? That's so cool. And Kev and I will always like, we'll pick our records. We'll be a little bit similar on stuff. I think where I would differ is like, or not differ necessarily, but like my staple is like, I really do love the Killers. I love old Killers. The first record, Hot Fuss, and I also kind of jam to Songs About Jane by Maroon 5.
Okay.
That's like my
Alright.
guilty pleasure, but I actually love that record. I'm not a fan after that, but
What about that George Michael song you requested on the way home?
what song is that?
Careless Whisper.
I love Careless Whisper. I think one thing we
Not
all
for
agree
me.
on is we love 80s music. We
80s music.
we
Yeah.
definitely
Great.
Yeah.
like to go back to the original thing. Like we definitely started out as like a garage rock band, and we love that Strokes type of Kings of Leon stuff. But I think that where we're moving, and definitely Andrew brought this in as well, and even a little bit of Lucas, is like we love '80s music, and I think that it's like kind of a mold of two worlds. But so that'll be some of it. So sometimes Genesis and U2, definitely.
Yeah. Which one of you guys is the driver? Do you guys have one person that drives the most?
So I don't think
Thank
anybody
you.
likes that I'm the driver, but somehow I always end up driving. I have like terrible road rage. Not terrible. Don't say anything. No, I drive a lot. I don't mind it. I kind of like it. I sometimes like, I don't know. I like everyone to be rested, and I know that I can just kind of go. So sometimes I'm like, I know that like, maybe I kept Kevin up to like 4 o'clock in the morning one night. So I'm like,
Telling
Kevin,
ghost
you sleep,
stories.
let me drive, But for the most part, yeah, you don't have a license anymore. We don't want to talk about that one. Is this off the record?
We'll talk about that later.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask who's the worst driver out of you guys, but I think I might know now.
Oh no, he's the worst driver.
He's the worst driver.
I'm a
Okay.
great driver. It's just the thing is, police really like to catch me for speeding, and it turns out you can't go like 100 miles an hour on 95. So that's where the license got revoked, but indefinitely too.
Indefinitely. Okay. Great.
So it's gonna be great for the rest of my life.
And do you guys have a certain venue that you enjoy playing in the most?
I
You
think
guys think?
right now, I mean, my favorite. We might have like different favorite. My favorite to play is at the Mercury Lounge in Manhattan. That's like a really, pretty cool room to play. You can pack a lot of people in there. It's like a medium-sized room. We like to think it's big, but we can pack a lot of people in there, and it's a really great sound system, and it's fun to play.
We did play a show at Webster Hall at the end of the summer, which was truly incredible. Not the main room, but there's a middle room called the Marlin Room, and it's probably about twice the size of the Mercury Lounge.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And the sound was incredible there. And our sound girl, like she was just such a pro, and
Nailed it.
she just nailed it, which is such like a relief because it can get tough sometimes. You go to different clubs and everyone has different sound, but it was a huge stage, and it was a good cause too. It was for a benefit for cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
And the organization was based in Hawaii, but they had a fundraiser over here, and our friend is involved. So she's like, "Oh, would you guys like to play this and open up for this guy, a bigger act?" And so we got to play this like huge room with amazing sound, and that, I think I could speak for us and say that was definitely a highlight of the summer in terms of gigs.
It was actually supposed to be with Chevy Metal originally, but the Foo Fighters decided to go on tour, so they had to pull out. But
That would have been like the second most bizarre opening act thing ever. But
What's your first most bizarre?
people we opened it for.
Yeah.
I would say playing with Paul Simon, Edie Brickell, and Chad Stokes for it was a charity event for the Sandy Hook killings, I guess.
How was that though? The show.
It was very interesting. It was really, really cool. Everyone really got involved. There were like well over like 1,200 people there, just kind of sitting down listening to us play, and it was very like intimate at the same time, which was a really interesting opportunity. And we got to hang out with Paul Simon for a while. So
I was such a super fan. At first I saw him, I was like, "Oh my God, is that Paul Simon?"
he was a little fangirl.
I was like, I love him so much and his music that seeing him in person was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is Paul Simon."
You're very starstruck. You're a senior here at SUNY Purchase.
Correct.
You go to UConn.
Yes.
You go to.
I
you
just graduated in May, actually, from WestConn in Connecticut.
Okay, and you go to
College of Charleston.
Charleston. How is it being in a band, not going to any of the same schools, but having to go on tours all the time? Is that difficult for you guys, or is it something that you've become accustomed to?
Surprisingly, no.
Yeah, I mean, logistically, it's we got a plan for it, of course, but we've been able to put it together because we're all like super passionate about this, so we definitely put things on hold, in our lives so we can do this. It's
We don't have a
really
life.
important. Yeah, we don't have.
This is your
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you have to go to Boston at 7:30 in the morning. Okay, yeah.
If it's something you love to do, you're willing to do it.
Absolutely.
That's great. And any plans for after you guys graduate?
Yeah, of course. Hopefully some
I
kind
don't
of
know.
tour.
And more recording probably. We'll probably keep on the EP thing.
Yeah.
I think that we like to kind of, and we've talked about this, and you can kind of touch on, we like to sample music, but I mean, obviously if a record label came knocking on our door, we would hit the button for
And put
record the
together a
record.
complete package of stuff.
But we want to be ready. Obviously everybody wants all these things to happen, and even today at Boston, we realize like now we're on these bigger stages, and so it's always like a level up. Like you start to learn, like you can't just. And I think we've always talked about it's like, oh, can we just go play Madison Square Garden? And it's like that's not how it works. And you start to learn that actually, you have to like develop to that point. And like there's such a change from one time recording or another time recording and stuff like that. So I think the plan is like to keep getting to the next level, and then and be
learning
prepared
it's a
for
big
it.
learning curve, and working as hard as possible, because there's no overnight success in this like anything else, and you just keep pushing along. But you learn so much if you just keep at it.
What's the main thing that keeps you guys going? And this is like, the music industry is not something that's an easy place to be.
No.
And you're going to face a lot of rejection. What's that thing that just keeps you guys going?
I mean, writing music for us is kind of like a nervous twitch. We can't really stop it. Like I just came back the other day from college so we could start practicing, and we were in the studio practicing for like 8 hours, and we still couldn't help but stop and write a new song. So
Yeah, it was like we weren't getting anything done actually.
yeah, it took a while too.
I think I could also speak for us and say, like, personally love traveling and playing like to different audiences all over. Like, that is like absolutely what I want to do with my life, and I know these guys do too, and that's why we're so committed to it. Like, we want to wake up and be like, oh, we have to go to Boston today and go play a festival. And like over the summer, it's like, oh, we're going to Maine to play a festival. And then maybe one day it'll be like, oh, we have to go to London tomorrow because we're playing at Royal Albert Hall.
You never know. Honestly,
Yeah.
you guys really do have a great sound.
Thank you.
So-
And I just want to touch on that. I think it's interesting because we all have really bizarre backgrounds. They're so oddly similar. Obviously, we're brothers, but even when Kevin came on and Andrew not as maybe as much, or even Kevin as me and Lucas, but we've moved so many times, and we've all had like different experiences and being homeschooled and different stuff like that. 3 out of 4 of us, right? Were homeschooled. So it's like we have just a weird upbringing that I think being like on tour, and like Andrew and I talk about this all the time. We laugh like, what would make you want to be away from all your friends and all your people? And it's like, well, these are your friends, and like we're kind of we are a family, and like
It's a relationship.
it's amazing to see all these new places. So it's like I think the music's number one. I think the opportunity that you get, it's not the easiest life, but also nothing like good is easy though. So
Exactly. And it pays off.
yeah. It just feels right.
Potentially could be the most rewarding experience of our lives.
Potentially.
It already is.
And I was going to say, it looks like it really already is. You guys get to spend so much time together doing something that you all love. So, look
It's
at
not
that.
always the best.
Brothers.
What's
All
it
the
like
time.
for you guys being brothers and spending this much time together?
We never fight.
You never fight? I don't believe you.
We
never
used to have a lot of fights. You were never around for that, but we got over it.
There was
We're more of like friends rather than brothers. Well, I guess that's probably a negative. We're closer than brothers in a way. I don't know. We like to hang out with each other more than being forced to it.
It's funny, like when like as an outsider, from the family, like when they do fight, it's like really intense for like a little while, like, and then you're like, oh my god, I need to get out of here. Like this is gonna get bad, really bad. But then you'll come back 10 minutes later, and they're just like it never happened, and they just keep on rolling, and they're talking about
We're hugging it out. And
yeah, or we're just back to business, or just back to hanging out and being friends, and that's pretty cool.
How do the audiences differ from each place you guys play?
Oh, it's a good question.
question.
Yeah, it's very. They are different, It's like it's hard to get around that. Like the New York City crowd is like very specific, and they're like a hard egg to crack. They are like they want to be impressed by you.
Right.
And they're not the type of crowd who's gonna get up and like start dancing. You have to like make them start dancing. But if you go down south, you play in front of crowds who just love music, and they're there to hear music, and and they'll get up and they'll start moving. Well, we were up in like Boston, and we were even up, up in Maine, like we said before, and over the summer. And those crowds are a little, I don't know, maybe a little bit more like timid. They're a little bit like shy at first, but like everyone just wants to have a good time.
That's great. And do you have a favorite place to play? A favorite state?
New York City,
Nashville.
Nashville?
yeah, that too.
No, we love New York.
Yeah, New York is our home away from home for us, definitely. But Nashville has a really cool vibe. But New York is in the heart.
Awesome. Well, we're going to be hearing 2 more songs from Ula Ruth. Here is Shake It Off and Young and Restless.
This one's called Shake It Off.
On the street corners when they let you down, for a helping hand there's nowhere to be found. 'Cause I wanna run to you, 'cause I don't know if you will catch me. Do you care about anything at all? I want you to know you gotta shake it off. No one's gonna heal your broken heart. You gotta shake it off. Don't you let them tear you apart. I want you to know I've been waiting for you, and I will wait all night. Here it comes, 'cause it comes faster than before, and it comes in waves, 'cause it will knock you to the floor. What I've gotta say, because it's on my mind. Oh, tonight, I want you to know I've been waiting for you. 'Cause you gotta shake it off. No one's gonna heal your broken heart. You gotta shake it off. Don't you let them tear you apart. I want you to know I've been waiting for you, and I will wait all night. I want you to know I've been waiting for you. You gotta shake it off. No one's gonna heal your broken heart. You gotta shake it off. Don't you let them tear you apart. You gotta know I've been waiting for you, and I will wait all night. I'll wait all night.
This one's called Young and Restless.
tongue, you smile as you laugh. You were never gonna ever